if you have an app, for example, from an airline, you won't log in to their mobile-friendly website to study their content, right? So, you go to their app and book your flight, right? Same thing with PayPal. Like PayPal has an app and has a mobile-friendly website. What do you use? Use the app, right? As long as the app exists. The first thing is that knowing that like you are presenting this as like, hey, this is an opportunity that you're not taking advantage of. This is something that you should be doing and you are not doing.
Welcome, trailblazers and visionaries, to the ACTIONERA Podcast, your ultimate guide to mastering community building, skyrocketing engagement, and boosting your revenue. If you're an author, speaker, coach, expert, or online entrepreneur, this is the show you've been waiting for. Here at ACTIONERA, we've been revolutionizing the content marketing landscape with our cutting-edge platform for membership, courses, events, marketing, and community building. Now, we're thrilled to bring our wealth of knowledge to your ears through this podcast. Each week, we'll delve into the hottest strategies and technologies that are transforming the worlds of community building and entrepreneurship. Get ready for fascinating expert interviews, inspiring success stories, and actionable tips that will catapult your business to new heights. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or new to this industry, the ACTIONERA Podcast is your one-stop resource to help you create a thriving content marketing system and crush your goals. So buckle up and join us in today's episode as we embark on this exhilarating adventure together.
So one of the things that I didn't realize is when I announced the price and started talking about the bonuses, then people apparently clapped, and I was like, oh, interesting. Like I didn't realize, but like then in the evening at dinner, people said that happened, and I'm like, wow, that's actually very interesting and impressive. Yay, that we did that. But the reality is that the offer, we've been working on it since the beginning of January. Like we've been working on this company for some time, but really this particular offer, starting on January 9th of 2023, we switched from one-time sales into SaaS model. So SaaS model means software as a service, which means that instead of people paying one-time fee, then now they are paying on a monthly basis or yearly basis. And when we were charging one-time fee, ACTIONERA was a super hot offer, because none of our competitors offer app development as a one-time fee. The challenge with the one-time fee, though, is that over the years, you start having all these clients who have paid a one-time fee, and then you need to provide them service and support, and of course that becomes expensive. You can start charging them for support, but again, one of our goals with ACTIONERA as a company is to build the company to be sold and to be taken over by another company. So like we need to be very careful around how we are growing the company, and the company needs to actually run really, really well. And so that's why we couldn't continue with selling one-time offers. We had to go to the SaaS model. But then when we went to monthly fees, the offer became similar to any other competitor's offer. Now, many of these competitors are selling a lot of their package. But one of the things in years of marketing for us, and this is one of the things, like many of our competitors are not super avid marketers. Like they're not super experienced marketers.
They're programmers. They're creative. They design the thing. Yeah.
Exactly right. They are developers, and then they just so happen to end up in this market. But for us, like I've been doing this for many years. Like I have the most sold book on Amazon on online course creation, and thousands and thousands of students that have trained on online course creation. And then Robert has been doing this for years and years, right? For like 20 years, Robert has been and he has been like on top of the leaderboard of many joint venture partners and everything else. So we understand the importance of having the hottest offer in the market, right? And when we went to the SaaS model to charge a monthly fee, we lost that edge. Now, you may be sitting there and you're like, Iman, I'm not building a SaaS company. I have a coaching business. Doesn't matter. The question for you is this: do you have the hottest offer in your industry for what you provide? And if you don't, and you are not happy with your conversion rates, then you may want to work on this. It's like sit there and wonder, like ask yourself, like, how can I create the hottest offer of my industry, right? And that's exactly what we did. We weren't happy with our conversion rate. And starting on January 10th, I remember I started waking up super early. Like I was like, I was awake like at 4:30 a.m., like middle of the night. I would wake up with the thought that's like, how can we create the hottest offer in the industry, right? And for about like 40 days, 50 days, I couldn't. I just simply anywhere between 4 to 4:30 every morning, I woke up with as if I had like this massive stress. And I know where it comes from because it like comes from the passion of making things work, right? Like, yes, I found a really hot challenge, and let me deal with it, right? Which I think the way that I always explain the reason that I'm an entrepreneur is because I say entrepreneurship is the playground for me to challenge myself, and this was a good challenge. Like this was a challenge that would wake me up, right? At like 4 a.m. And then probably Robert and I were like talking like 10, 15, 20 times a day. Like I was like, anytime that I had a moment, I would text Robert. I'm like, hey, are you around? And he's like, yeah, give me 2 minutes, give me 5 minutes, right? And then he would finish whatever he was doing. We would get on the phone and we're like, okay, let's talk about the offer. Let's talk about the offer. Let's talk about the offer. I don't know how many conversations Robert and I had about the offer, right? And then it started coming together as the result of having a lot of conversations with clients, like looking at what they are looking for, like, and looking at the trends in the market, looking at competitors. But the thing with the competitors was that they didn't have super hot offers. Like, it was good, but like I wanted something that like the moment that I say it, and this is what I said actually at the beginning of the talk. At the beginning of my talk yesterday, I said, here is what's gonna happen. When I get to the point that I start telling you about this offer, you guys are gonna say, no, really? Oh no, seriously? You're gonna give me that too? Oh my God, no, right? And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Like exactly like the moment I started sharing the offer, people were like I showed the price because I showed the price first, which I never do. Like I usually talk about all the features, talk about all the bonuses, and then at the end I put the price. But this one, I actually put the price first. I was like, regularly on our website, you buy it at this price, and then this is the exclusive offer for this event, and this is going to be the price. But now let me tell you about the bonuses. When you invest in ACTIONERA today, when you buy ACTIONERA today, here is bonus one, here is bonus two, here's and then like as soon as I start saying bonus one, and people are like, holy crap, really, right? And that's where the claps started coming. They're like, oh my God, like that's awesome, that's awesome. So we teased you a lot around like, okay, this is a super cool offer, like, right? But here's the thing. How do you create a super cool offer? There are 3 major components to a super cool offer. And then maybe there are more stuff as well, but these 3, I would say, are very, very, very important. And one is the main product. What's the main product? Like, is the main product something that people say, yeah, this is something that I should be doing or I should get my hands on, and I don't have it? or I'm not doing it. Okay. So that's number one. But how do you create that? How do you create that experience that the person that is sitting there listening to your talk is saying, yeah, this is something that I should really have and I don't have, right? And the way that you create that experience and the feeling for the person is showing them, number one, that this is a great opportunity that they are missing out on. For example, when it comes to apps, 65% of content users prefer to consume your content, your course, on an app. 35% want to study online, 65% want to study it on a cell phone or on an app, right? So that's extremely important. And let me tell you, actually, the 65% say cell phone, but 90% of the time of all cell phone users are on an app. So many times when our competitors do market research, because they are not in the app market, they are online course builders. People say, I want to consume it on a on a cell phone. And what they think is that if I give people a mobile friendly website, it's gonna work. And it doesn't. A mobile friendly website is not where people want the content. 90% of the time of cell phone users is on apps. You know where the other 10% is? They're making phone calls, they're sending text messages, and they might be on Safari, but 90% of the time. So they're not on website, like cell phone optimized websites.
Yeah, getting the content or the education. They're just doing a quick Google search.
Yeah.
So that's what they're using it for. But when it comes to consuming content, they prefer to be inside of apps. It's just the way it is.
Exactly right. And like for example, like many times you can experience this. For example, like if you have an app, for example, from an airline, you won't log in to their website, mobile friendly website, to study their content, right? To like book your flight. You go to their app and book your flight, right? Like Expedia, for example, has an app and has mobile friendly website. I never go to the mobile friendly website. I go to the app and book my flight, right? Same thing with PayPal. Like PayPal has an app and has a mobile friendly website. What do you use? Use the app, right?
Yeah.
Like all of those things, as long as the app exists, people go. So anyways, first thing is that knowing that like you are presenting this as like, hey, this is an opportunity that you're not taking advantage of. This is something that you should be doing and you are not doing. Let's say, for example, a person is dealing with being overweight, right? And you're like, hey, here are the dangers of being overweight. Or, for example, you're selling weight loss program. You begin with here are the dangers of being overweight, and you gotta understand what's your reason to get healthy, right? So like now you're giving them a reason to want to be part of this, right? So same thing for us. Like for example, for us is like, well, here is the statistics that show that you need to have your own app. And then people are sitting in the audience and are like thinking, oh, I should have my own app, right? And then the good thing is that like the better thing we can do is also knowing how your audience feels. Like I actually in my slides had slides from the audience telling me, right? So I had a couple of slides there that had a different color. And I said, every time you guys see this color, this is you guys telling me this, right? And I was like, I had one of the slides that said, but Iman, ... It seems cool and all, but it seems like a lot of work, right? And I'm like, you're thinking that, aren't you? And everybody's like, yes, we are thinking that. I'm like, okay, so let me tell you actually how to do it, right? So first is making sure that like they know that they are like, that they want to be part of this, like they're missing out on an opportunity or they want to do something super awesome, right? And then saying that they can do it, right? So then when I got to that place, I was like, okay, let me show you how you can do this very simple way. So I can show them like 6 simple steps to create and launch your own app. And step 3 was optional. So I'm like giving them 6 steps that one of the steps is even optional. And step 6 was like practically needed like a couple of copy and paste, right? And then they're like sitting there and I'm like, can you do this? And it was like, hell yes. Hell yes, I can do this, right? So within the talk and the offer, we create this product that's like, this is something that I want, and this is something that I can do. So those 2 are very important. So when you look at the offer, you want to make sure that the core of the offer is something that people are looking at and say like, this is what I want. Even better, this is what I need. Like I really need this. And then I can also do it. Okay, so that's the core of the offer. Then the second part comes to bonuses. Now, when it comes to bonuses, and Robert is actually really good at this when it comes to creating bonuses for joint venture partners and creating really good packages, which I'm actually going to get him to also talk about that while we're talking about this. But the way that I always look at the bonuses is I think about the biggest objections that people would have to invest in our package. And I try to find the best bonuses that answers all those objections. And for ACTIONERA, we had 2 major objections. Number 1, when I do my app, when I have my app, when I build my app, how am I gonna share this with people? How am I gonna get people to come to me, right? So a few weeks ago, we bought a company called JV Insider Circle. And those of you who know me, who have been with me for some time, know that I was part owner of JVIC. So I own JVIC with Rich Kerman, and then ACTIONERA, I own it with Robert Evans and Mark Evans and several investors, right? So when there was always this question that's like, how can I find people? So I called Robert. I'm like, Robert, are you open to purchasing JVIC? And Robert said, I don't know how we can do that, right? Because JVIC is a very good company, a successful company, everything, right? And we're like, oh, this is going to be expensive. Like, this is going to cost us an arm and a leg that we don't have, an extra arm and a leg. And then, and I was like, okay, give me some time. I'll call Rich, my business partner in JVIC. I was like, Rich, what does it take to actually, like, would you be interested that ACTIONERA buys JVIC? So anyways, we had several conversations. So Rich and I had some conversations. Then Robert and I had some conversations. And I have bought a lot of companies. And I think the biggest key to that buying companies for me is always finding the motivation of the seller and see if we can satisfy the motivation of the seller more than being about the price. And we were able to shape a very interesting deal to be able to buy JV Insider Circle's entire company from Rich and me and transfer it to ACTIONERA. So then that question got answered. So the question was like, how do I find people to refer clients to me? And we're like, well, now when you own ACTIONERA, you are a member of Joint Venture Insider Circle, which gives you 2 deal-making calls a month, gives you 3 3-day deal-making calls a year, and 1 events, and 1 3-day in-person JV summit every year. Like, this in itself is a $997 membership. JVIC was a $997 membership.
Yeah, and even more so is the access to the members of JVIC, which is right around 600 members,
More than
to
that.
connect with
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
And also, we got a large mailing list in this process, right? So we got a large mailing list. We ended up getting this large community and answered this objection that our app users had. That's like, where do I find people to come to my app? Well, through these joint venture partners that will help you to promote yourself, and you can get people on your mailing list and on the app. Okay, now you may be sitting there, you're like, Iman, this is way too advanced. Wait a second, guy. Wait a second. Are you telling me I should go and buy other companies? No, I'm not telling you this. Like, remember, ACTIONERA is a large company. Like, we invest in other companies out there. However, when I was creating my online courses back in the day that I didn't have any name or anything, I would look at what's the biggest objection that people would have to buy this. And I would create bonuses that say, like, for example, people would say, I don't know how to create a sales page. I don't know how to write copy. So then I would give them sales page samples and copy samples. So then I would say, like, you don't need to figure this out. You can easily just copy and paste the system and follow the template. I'll teach you how to adjust the template, right? So for that, I didn't need to buy a company to do that. But the way of thinking about bonuses comes from what's the biggest objection, right? Now, another objection that we were getting also for ACTIONERA was this. This is all cool and all, but I'm spending a lot of money on the rest of my tech. I'm using a funnel builder, and that's like $97 or $297 a month. I'm using ActiveCampaign or like whatever mailing list software, and that's like $15, $20, $30 a month. I'm using a calendar booking software like Calendly, Acuity Scheduling, like that's another like $15 a month. I'm spending, like, they had a lot of tools, right? And then the conversation was like, well, if I'm spending all this money, like $300, $400, $500 a month on the tools, I don't want to spend another $300 a month on an app. Right? I'm just like at my capacity with the money that I want to spend on tools. And then we're like, how can we solve this? How can we solve this? And that's why we created ACTIONERA's marketing portal. Well, like, what if we do all of that work within the system? So you pay us one payment of $299 a month, and we take care of all of those things. So you don't need to pay $297 to a funnel builder. You don't need to pay like $15, $40, $50 to a mailing list. You don't need to pay $15 to $50 to a calendar booking software. You don't need to pay for like a text messaging software and this software and that software and that. And all of that is like, well, okay, you were spending $400, $500 a month on your own and you don't even have an app. Come to ACTIONERA, you pay $299 a month and you also get an app.
Yeah, and then when we when we show them the math, I mean that's what it's about. It's the math. What are you doing now? And we know that the one of the biggest missing components in their marketing and content arsenal is having their own app, which is a absolutely critical tool to any business today. It's not something that is coming. It's something that's been here and that is happening right now. And so we know that that's missing. And so if we say, if you do the math and you can see that you can move these expenses over to here and be the same or less, you're spending either the same amount of money or less money than you were with all these fragmented technologies that are all over the place, which, by the way, you have to, if you have one software over here where you're sending people to funnels, and then another software over here where you're sending them to take your course, and another software over here to send them to do your membership or your content or whatever. I call that ping pong in your clients all over the internet, which is not a great client experience. is that they have to know all these different URLs and they got to log into all these different places and they have to all do it all from their computer. And what we do is we provide that solution to where it's one source. And since we can provide that either at the same or less of a cost, then people start to go, yeah, this is really making sense. I want an app, and I can actually get an app for less or the same of what I'm paying now. I'm just going to have to make some shifts into the Actionera world. But it was one of the last bonuses that I think is really important is what if I always ask myself this question, and this might be a good question for you to ask yourself too. I said, what if I can give my clients a way for this to not cost them anything? And and then of course it's like, if I came to you and I said, hey, here's a software program and this is all that it does, and this is the total value if you were to go elsewhere to piece it all together, and I said that you can actually have it for free, wouldn't you go, well, yes, I'm listening, right? And so one of the things I think a lot of businesses, and maybe this is something you are doing or not doing, is really leveraging the affiliate marketing side of your business, meaning that you have a program in which you reward other people for sending someone to you to buy your product, and in return, if they buy that product because of that referral, you're going to give them a piece of that expense.
Absolutely. And just make sure that doesn't get confused with multi-level marketing.
Yeah.
That's not what we are talking about here with we're talking about one level of affiliate marketing. And this is the thing. And I'm going to get to actually that bonus, because that particular bonus, the last bonus that Robert is talking about, falls under the third part of this entire offer creation and making sure that it works really well, right? So going back to bonuses and objections, write the biggest objections of your clients and figure out the way that you can offer them bonuses to overcome those objections, right? You're probably not going to use the solutions that we are using. We are a SaaS company. It's a very different situation for us. But I mean, in my online course business, definitely that's what we have been doing anyways. And that's how we've sold millions of dollars of online courses, through just thinking about the bonuses that would answer people's objections, right? And even when I created masterminds or mentorship programs, all of them, the bonuses always are the answers to people's objections, okay? And then we come to the third part of a really good offer. And that third part comes with affordability and scarcity. Affordability and scarcity. So what does that mean? People love to get a really good deal for themselves. So the question here for you is, what if you reward action takers? We're in an in-person event. This hotel we were staying at is about $400 a night. So, including tax, right? Including tax and everything is about $400 a night. So, we're standing in front of a lot of people that have flown to Phoenix, that are spending $400 a night to be at this hotel, to attend this seminar. They're paid $500 to be at this event. These are action takers. These are people that need to be celebrated. And these are the people that we want to have as clients, like people who take action, who do the work, who are successful, right? Or want to be successful, or investing on themselves. So, of course, we want to make them feel special. So the question here is what makes today's offer, not your offer in general, but what makes the offer that you're making today very exclusive? So if I take action today on your offer, I get this exclusive deal. Okay? And that is the third part of this is like how to make this. And so that comes with the affordability. So the price, yeah, you can potentially always give people some discount. Every business, unless like very minor luxury brands and other things, offer exclusive pricing. Like you may not get a Lamborghini on exclusive deals, right? Or like a Rolex on like, hey, like we have a sales for Rolex and like it's $1,000 off, right? Like that's not how Rolex works or like Lamborghini works. However, practically every business, like you watch BMW, Mercedes, any majority of watch brands, anything else, right? They always have sales. That's like today you can get this at like $100 off. Today you can get this like 20%. Like we have like whatever something days, right? Like for example, like we have in Canada, we have a company called the Bay, and then we have Bay Days, right? So it's like Bay Days, you go there and you get a lot of discount. So question for you is, what's your today's exclusive offer for me? How am I going to get a super good deal from you today that I want to take action right now, right? So for us, like when we're at an event like this, of course, we have an exclusive offer. But also, that exclusive offer ends by the end of the event. So if you start filling out the form and going to the back of the room and signing up, you get that exclusive offer. If the event finishes, we're done, we come out, then that offer ends as well. So of course, now people want to take action. But this last part is the scarcity. So that has some scarcity in it. But what if for the first 25 people who hand out their registration forms to the back of the room to Robert, they get their first 2 referrals at 50% referral fee. So refer 2 clients to us and you're making back your entire investment. So you have an app, you have entire marketing platform, and it doesn't cost you a dime. But you should be one of the first 25. And this is at the point that nobody was clapping. Everybody was just writing their credit card information, their information, because they wanted to be one of the first 25. Mm-hmm. Like that's the part that like people were like, oh shit, like now this is serious. Like everything you said, like we're excited, we wanted to sign up, but we're listening to you. And the moment I said the first 25 people who join now and will get 50% affiliate fee for the first 2 clients that they refer, normally it's 25%, but then the first 25 people get 50% for their first 2, so makes your app free. They're like, oh yeah, I gotta start writing, right? So by the time, and I always say this, the biggest failure of a talk that you were selling from the stage is if people want to give you a standing ovation. You know why? Because if they have time to give you a standing ovation, it means that they are not writing their information on the form that you want.
Interesting.
On a TEDx talk, you want people to give you a standing ovation. Go watch my TEDx talk. 2,700 people. At the end of my talk, got up, gave me a standing ovation. That was a TEDx talk. I wasn't selling anything. But if I'm selling something from the stage and the audience has time to stand up and want to clap for me, that would feed my ego. But that was a bad selling talk. Here's what I want them to do. I want them to fill in the form, go to the back of the room, give the form in the back of the room, and then come and say, thank you very much for that talk. This talk, I didn't know this when I came to this event, but this last hour was worth everything. All the travel, all the trip, everything was just worth it because of that one last hour. Like that talk changed my life. Thank you. That's what you want. At the end of a sales talk, you want people to be buying. You don't want them to stand up and clap for you. And And this is hard for people to understand because like sometimes I finish a talk, right? And then the back of the room is like a lot of, and by the way, like I'm not the type of person that like gets people to run to the back of the room and like climb over each other. Sometimes it happens, but like that's not my goal normally. My goal is I'm a very calm person, right? But it's a damn good offer.
Yeah.
It's a damn good offer, right? So like people are writing their information, they're buying, and that's what you want. So here's what we encourage you in a big way: make creating the hottest offer in your industry one of the biggest priorities for your business. If you are not happy with the conversion rate of your package, the first thing I will look at is the offer. It's like, do I have the hottest offer? Am I answering all the objections with some amazing bonuses? Am I telling people why they are missing out by not using this service or tool or this training? And if you are not, make sure you do. Especially make sure that they know that they can do it. Because sometimes, like people say, oh my God, like this is amazing. You got to have an app. You got to have blah, 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 blah. But they don't tell them if it's easy to do or not. So the audience is sitting there and they're like, yeah, this is awesome, but I'm not techie. I can't do that. So a big part of my talk was like how easy it is. And then I'll explain it to them and I showed it to them. So like, hey, look at this, look at this, look at this. These are not complicated. Can you do this? It was like, yes. How many times did I say, can you do this yesterday?
No, it was a lot.
Well, right.
And there was all the yeses all the time. Yeah.
Right. I was like, can you do this? Yes. Can you do this? Yes. Can you do this? Yes. So by the time that the talk ended, nobody was wondering like if they can do it or not.
Yeah.
Like, can you do this? Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. So why aren't you? Now, I want to add one last piece. Mm-hmm. Now, when we added the marketing platform bonus, so they could get their funnel builder, mailing list offer, all of those things, there was a challenge with that because many established businesses are very happy with their marketing software, with their email marketing, with their landing page, with their affiliate tracking. They can't even fathom, like they can't even think about like how they can switch. Mm-hmm. So it was very important for me that we don't repel those people by thinking that they have to switch. But remember, these are people that don't care about paying $299 a month. So this person, like there was a person there has 1.4 million people on her mailing list, right? It's a high 7-figure, maybe low 8-figure company, right? I don't remember, like it was a high 7-figure, low 8-figure. And they were making anywhere between $8 million to like $12 million a year, right? They don't freaking care about paying $299 a month, right? They don't care about that. But if I tell them, you need to switch your mailing list from what you're using to our system, they would never, ever, ever, ever want to buy the $299 tool. Yesterday, I was actually having a conversation with her. She was so excited about the app. I told her about the marketing platform. And she asked me one question. She said, how much does it cost for me to send emails? Normally, nobody asks me, but they have 1.4 million people on their mailing list. So they know that they are paying usage fee, right? And I said, it's going to cost this much, like, I don't know, like $5 for every 2,800 emails. And she did a quick calculation and said, if we stay where we are, it's cheaper for us. And we are only paying them $1 million a year for our mailing list. $1 million a year they're paying for their mailing list. Yikes. Right? And it was cheaper for them to stay. So they don't freaking care about paying that $299 a month. Mm-hmm. That $299 a month for having an app is like a deal, right? Because they're getting this amazing platform for only $299 a month. But they do not want to switch. anything that they have. So here is one of the slides that I had right after I showed the marketing platform slide. Immediately after that, I said, we play nice with others. So if you're happy with your marketing platform, if you're happy with your funnel builder, if you're happy with your mailing list software, you absolutely do not need to switch. Keep everything the way that this is. But if you are not happy with them and you want to switch, we'll love you, we'll take care of you, and we'll nurture you, and we'll provide you amazing world-class service. So if you don't want to use this marketing portal, totally don't use the marketing portal. It's a bonus that you are getting. Use it or don't use it, your choice. If you're unhappy with the current provider, switch. If you're happy with the current provider, stay with them. And that actually converted several bigger players also in the room. If I didn't have that slide, we would lose probably 4 or 5 sales, and the 4 or 5 sales of really more successful, bigger people in the room that wouldn't care about that money. Mm-hmm. So that's actually something that when you are thinking about your target market, you have to think about the 3 levels of audience. So this is the last piece I'm going to add, and then we should finish this episode. Mm-hmm. This was a very long episode. Mm-hmm. But the key to this is there are 3 levels of audience. People who have never done it before. People who have done it but weren't happy with the results. People who have done it are okay with the results but want to do better. So for me, as I'm standing in front of this audience, I'm thinking, I'm going to have people in this room that have never built an app and have never built any business. Then I'm going to have people that have built their business, are doing something, but they're not happy with the results. They're not happy with their tech. And the last one, people who are happy with their tech, but they want to do better. So you got to always remember that you are talking to all 3 levels of audience. People who have never done it before, people who have done it but they're unhappy, people who have done it and are happy but want to do even better. Just keep that in mind. Make sure that you have the hottest offer. Make sure you follow that process. There's a lot more to say on the talks to sell from the stage, but I think this core piece that we talked today is a piece that I even don't talk about at many of my trainings on how to sell from the stage. So I'm glad that we did this episode, because I can actually give this episode to my high-end students and like say, hey, by the way, just make sure to listen to this episode as well.
No, this is good. It's a good, because it's fresh for us, and it's good for us to really share this with all of you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anyways, if you haven't downloaded ACTIONERA app, go to App Store or Google Play and download ACTIONERA app. That's ERA, ACTIONERA app. And you can listen to our podcast. You can subscribe to our podcast. You can get a lot more training and lots of other things from the ACTIONERA app. And I'm not sure if you know this or not, but you can actually get your content on cell phones, on apps, for free by creating a free ACTIONERA account. So for that, you can go to actionera.com and just sign up for a free account. And when you do that, you can actually create upload your content and tell people download ACTIONERA app, and then give a code to them to unlock your content on ACTIONERA app for absolutely no cost.
Yep. So hopefully you got a lot of value out of the episode today, and we'll see you next week or next time we post the next episode.
Yeah,
looking forward to it. We got a lot to share with you. All right, everybody. Take care.
Have a good day.
And there you have it, folks. Another power-packed episode of the ACTIONERA Podcast comes to a close. We're so glad you could join us today. Don't forget to swing by our website, actionera.com, where you can set up a free ACTIONERA account and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or via RSS, ensuring you never miss a beat. If you found value in today's show, we'd be over the moon if you could rate us on iTunes or simply spread the word to a friend. Looking for more? Download the ActionEra app by going to actionera.com and scanning the QR code. You won't want to miss it. Stay tuned for next week's episode, where we'll continue to provide insights and inspiration to fuel your entrepreneurial journey. Until then, keep making a difference, and we'll see you on the next ActionEra podcast.